Hello, my loves. I'm so excited to talk with everybody today a little bit about something new that's coming through for me, something so powerful, and that is, of course, psychic kids. Today, I'm going to be talking all about psychic kids, the signs that they would be showing. So, you could maybe see these signs in your own self when you were a kid, and maybe you could see these signs in a child that you know, or your own children. And I want to talk about categories of psychic kids as well. So there's lots here that I want to share. I'm kind of like a little bit of a tech goddess right now, and I'm sharing this on IG Live, but I'm also putting this up on YouTube. So if you are watching this on YouTube, I want to thank you so much for coming back to this channel. Welcome back to another video on Starseed Academy. If you are watching on IG Live, thank you so much for popping in. Before we jump into this, and again, if you're just jumping on, this is all about psychic kids, the signs that they would be showing. Look for yourself in these. You know, if you were showing these signs as a kid or in your own children or in children that you might know, I'm going to be talking about the categories as well of these children. I feel like this is one of the most important topics that I've ever covered. It's coming through so strongly. And before I jump in, I just want to remind everybody watching on YouTube to make sure that you are subscribed to this channel for new videos every single week. If you're not on YouTube, then make sure that you come over to YouTube and get subscribed. There are literally hundreds of videos. Hello to everybody joining on IG Live. Hello, Daniela, Black Rose Witch, Inkworks Tattoo, Crystal Prophecy. Hello to everybody that joined before them. So happy to see everybody here. Feel free to pop any questions into the chat as we go along. Okay, so now that we're set up, hello YouTube, hello IG Live. Let's get into this. Okay, I want to share with how this came through before I get into the hard facts. This is such a weird thing that happened. So I was not even meditating when this happened. It just came through so strongly. I heard psychic kids and I saw myself as a little girl. I saw myself as this little girl that had all of this weight on her shoulders, like there was so much that was going on with me that I didn't understand. Gifts really poking through the surface. I feel like I had one world in the physical realm and one foot in the physical realm, one foot in the spirit realm. It was super confusing. I constantly had spirit attracted to me and to my light, always kind of harassing me and surrounding me no matter where I went. I was experiencing imaginary friends, and we're going to talk more about these signs. I was experiencing night terrors, psychic attacks. I was experiencing extreme physical symptoms as well that a highly empathic child would be showing, such as unbelievable digestive issues. Like I was allergic to everything that existed, immune deficiencies, just a very sickly, very sensitive child. I was allergic to like grass, like the allergies, the food sensitivities, and all of that is very, very common in these gifted, open, highly sensitive children, right? These psychic gifted children are so sensitive to energy, so sensitive to this third dimensional, very like, it's a heavy world, the 3D world. It's filled with chemicals. It's filled with things that are not pure. And if you are extremely sensitive, it's going to really affect you. So I was a very sick kid. And I've seen that is very common, in children that are going through this. So let's talk about highly sensitive, open, and gifted children. Okay, so these are children that are so high frequency. They're like a gift to the world. They're conduits of high frequency, and it's kind of like coming down through them and going into Gaia and into the earth. A lot of the time, they're old souls filled with so much love and compassion, like enough to change the actual world. And it's an undeniable connection also to the spirit realm and to the ethereal realms with these children. So they have so many answers within, and they're quite literally the future of humanity, and they are worth protecting, right? So let's talk a little bit about the categories of psychic children before we jump into some of the more specific signs that they might be showing. Now, I want to preface this with the fact that you're not just going to be one category, right? Like I, as a child, fit into multiple of these categories, multiple. And so the thing is that it's not a cut and dry scenario where if you're a rainbow child, you aren't also maybe a crystal child. Like it could definitely be more than one. And like I said, all of this information was just, I think I started that story and didn't finish it. All of this information just downloaded itself into my heart, into my mind about 2 weeks ago now. And I was not even meditating, which is weird, right? And I literally, look, I was like furiously scribbling just notes after notes after notes of all of this information that wanted to come through with psychic children. Oh, we've got a comment here in the chat on Instagram. My daughter is so in tune with her psychic gifts, and I love it when she comes to me and shares her intuitive hunches. That is so beautiful to have a parent that can understand that and can encourage that even, right? So that there's no fear involved. But there's so much more that we can offer our children. We can offer them like training. We can offer them information on how to protect themselves, which is super important, how to create energetic boundaries for themselves, how to practice their gifts safely, how to train them up to be even more powerful. There's just so much, right? And I wanted to talk about so much today, but I'll start with the categories. So let's talk a little bit about that. So again, you can be more than one. So the rainbow children are multidimensional, which means that they've had lifetimes as like all of the races and species and life forms. So multidimensional to me means Earth lifetimes as human, galactic lifetimes around the Milky Way, also lifetimes potentially as animals, planets, stars, like super, super multidimensional. They really have a deep understanding of acceptance for all ways of life. So they're very tolerant when it comes to um, other kinds of people. You can see why they would be such a gift on the earth, because there's so much hatred and separation between the different kinds of humanity. And so these beautiful rainbow children, they're every color of the rainbow, right? So doesn't that make sense? It's like every color of the rainbow exists within them because they've had lifetimes as all of these things. So they really understand oneness. And in fact, they are here um, to bring that frequency of oneness to the earth, if that makes sense. Okay. So let's talk, that's the rainbow children. So then let's hop over to crystal children. So crystal children are connected to Gaia, the animal kingdom, and the nature kingdom. So very connected to, and that's why they're called crystal children, because the crystals are of the earth and they're very connected to Gaia, nature, and animals. Very, very sensitive. They're highly sensitive empaths, clairsentience, which just means that they feel what other people feel. They have like such powerful clairsentience. They can read a room, they can read people, they can really sense what people are going through emotionally, what they're feeling, or even physically. If they have an ailment, they can sense so much of that. And this is why it's really easy for them to get overwhelmed, especially in crowds. And then again, back to these children are some of the most sensitive, the crystal children. So they have a lot of digestive issues, food sensitivities, allergies, immunodeficiencies. They can really struggle with their health because they are super sensitive, crystal, beautiful souls. And then they're put here onto earth where everything is quite toxic. Everything is quite heavy in frequency. Everything is going to be very heavy for them, very draining for them. Okay, let's move on and talk about, oh, sorry, one last point here for the crystal children is that they are healers, natural healers, like energy healers. They are natural grid workers, which means that they're helping Gaia. Now, grid workers work above the planet, just outside the atmosphere. There is a planetary grid. They can be grid workers on the outside, but then they can also be grid workers in the ley lines, which is inside of Gaia, right? So just like a human body has ley lines, we have like meridians, energetic meridians, and chakras and power centers. Gaia, our planet, has that too, and ley lines are very important. And so these children are natural grid workers, very connected to Gaia and helping Gaia. And they're also peacekeepers, right? Because a lot of them would want to be like environmentalists, work with animals, work with the environment, nature, be peacekeepers, be healers, really just wanting to kind of like protect this beautiful earth. Okay, so that was crystal children. The next one is the diamond children. Okay, so diamond children are basically diamond meaning diamond coded. And what that means is the diamond code frequency is actually 6D frequency. So 6D means physical ascension. 5D means the ascension of your consciousness, right? A lot of people don't understand what those two differences are. So 5D is I'm having an awakening in my consciousness. I'm becoming more self-aware. I'm understanding that I'm the creator of my reality. I'm understanding that frequencies are creating my reality. My frequency, I need to keep it high. It's all about the intangible, your consciousness, your energy, your frequency. 6D is all about the physical now. Okay, so that is like the divine human blueprint, ascension symptoms, the body changing, DNA activations. These diamond coded children are carrying those codes. They have the 60 frequency of physical DNA, like ascension. Okay, so these children are naturally psychic. They are advanced manifestors, leaders, and way showers. They are brave, independent, and eager to make their mark on the world. So they are a little bit more of that like fearless, it's not to say that they're not sensitive like the crystal children, but they have more of that, like that 60 frequency gives them that a little bit of an edge, right? And they're a little more fearless and brave and ready to really kind of make their mark on the world. Okay, let's move on. We've got 3 more. So we've done the rainbow children, the crystal children, the diamond children. So old souls. Okay, let's talk about old souls. And yes, children can be old souls. I think we all know that, right? You can talk to a kid and just tell, oh my God, they're so wise. I want to get my advice from them. Okay, so old souls. So these children are deep thinkers, philanthropic. So that just means like they really think about like humanity and the condition of humanity, and how, like large scope things, like how humanity is going to start working together eventually, things like how the universe works, and basically keepers of ancient wisdom. They are natural born channelers of information about the soul journey. So what happens to the soul when it dies? What happens, to the soul before it comes into this life? What's in between lifetimes? What is the karma of this life? What is the next life? Akashic records. Like there's so much. Please save this live. Is that what you meant? Yeah, I absolutely will. Okay. And this is going up on YouTube as well. Oh, great question. Juvie and her plants are asking, Jen, where do autistic children come from these categories? That is such an amazing question. I really feel like they're going to be more than one. Okay. I think most children are more than one. I would never say, oh, that's a rainbow child. I would be like, oh, that was a rainbow child with aspects of the diamond and the this and the that and the starseed as well. So I think that autistic children can probably fit into more than one. However, if you're noticing that your child that is on the spectrum is also extremely sensitive, extremely empathic, and having things like being overwhelmed, being overstimulated, digestive issues, allergies, health problems, that's a crystal child. And the way to help them is to get them in connection to Gaia, the nature kingdom, the animal kingdom, and even crystals themselves to help them ground into their body. Okay. So we're talking about the old soul children. So these children are natural born channelers of information about the soul journey, like we were just saying, but also secrets of the universe. And they can tolerate, these old souls, they've seen a lot, so they can tolerate a lot. And so unfortunately, a lot of the times children that are old souls are put into difficult situations, like like difficult childhoods, difficult homes, that kind of thing. They can tolerate those situations pretty well. Not that that's right, but they have this real calm understanding to them, like when people say this too shall pass. Like they understand that it's not forever. They understand, being an old soul, that it's just this one life and that it's going to pass, right? Okay, someone on here, the spiritual entrepreneur, saying, this is my middle daughter. She's such an old soul. That is so beautiful. So a natural channeler, that if she's an old soul, a very deep thinker, keepers of ancient wisdom, teaching her how to connect to source and channel would be amazing. That's the kind of gift you'd want to encourage in her. And each one has their own special gifts, right? Okay, let's move on to the next one. One of my favorites would be the starseed children. So starseed children have a deep connection to the stars. They may remember lifetimes off Earth and feel as though Earth is not their true home. believe they believe that there's a greater purpose to their life, okay, that they're on earth with a mission. So that's very specific. Not all of these different kinds of categories of gifted and open and awakened children are going to feel that way. That is very specific to a star seed, okay. So again, that's that they have a deep connection to the stars. Maybe they're obsessed with Orion's belt or the Pleiades or something like that. They remember lifetimes off Earth, or maybe they have dreams about them, or maybe they share that with you a little bit, and they feel like Earth might not be their first home or their true home. They believe there's a greater purpose to their life and that they're on Earth with a mission. And sometimes they can feel a little distraught when they feel like they can't remember what that mission is. I remember feeling that way as a kid. It's like, I know I'm here for a reason, I'm supposed to do something. Oh, like, what is it? What am I here to do? It's super important to me to do this. And I feel like I don't want to leave this life without having accomplished it, but what is it? And it's like, it can cause a little bit of anxiety. But the reason that they feel like they're on earth with the mission is because they are. Okay. And that's the starseed children. Okay. Then the last one that I have for you is the light worker children. So light worker children are natural energy workers and energy weavers, which is a little bit different than an energy worker. They can weave energy through like through nature. You know, you could weave energy through a plant, a tree, to strengthen it and to heal it. They would be able to, you know, use probably their hands and their heart a lot in their energy work. And this would come naturally to them. They would kind of always just feel like they would use their hands a lot to connect. Maybe they would touch trees, touch plants, touch animals, touch other children or adults. They would, you know, be able to almost read energy and weave energy and heal energy through that. These lightworker children are here to unite humanity and remind them of their divine spiritual nature, to remind humanity about who we really are. They cannot stand injustice, okay? And they will stand up for equality for all. So a little bit fiery of a child, like not here for it. They're not going to see the bullies happening. They're not going to see the underdog and leave it be. They're going to feel so compelled to step in. They are going to want to stand up for equality and make sure that everyone has their own peace, their own fairness. And they're very heart-centered, very passionate about life and very passionate about living. Okay, so I want to reiterate that your child or you as a child was not necessarily just one of those. You can have aspects of the star seed plus the crystal children plus an old soul. Like you could have those three. You might not necessarily be all six of those, but you know, what I'm just saying is that there's definitely like more than one in each soul. Okay. All right. So basically psychic children, and when I say psychic children, I mean highly sensitive, open, gifted, awakened children, are beautiful conduits of this higher frequency, and they really are here to lead us into this new era. They have so many answers within. They are quite literally the future of humanity, like I said, and they are worth protecting. And it's so important for us to learn the signs of a child like this that's struggling. Learn the signs of a child like this that needs help, that needs guidance, that needs help learning how to put up energetic boundaries, protect themselves, cleanse themselves, use their gifts safely, lean into what their mission might be. Just imagine having that kind of training or mentorship at such a young age. Like I look at myself as a little girl and how hard it was. And I only remember it being difficult. It certainly did not feel like a gift. It felt like a curse. I felt cursed by whatever was happening to me because nobody spoke my language, nobody understood, and there are so many millions of children going through exactly this. So this is why I want to make this information more like mainstream, more available to parents, guardians of these children, and then the children themselves when they're old enough to kind of be on social media and take this in. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some signs now that you might have one of these children or know one of these children or have been one of these children, so you can apply this in any way that you would like. Someone's saying that my voice is changing, or is it just you hearing it like that? I don't know. It could be like maybe a mic thing. I'm just doing this on my cell phone, but could be. Somebody else wants to comment on that, they can. Okay. So let's talk about some of these pain points that these children are going through. So these children are such pure lights that they don't have any boundaries because they haven't learned that yet, right? So this leaves them open to attachments a lot of the time. It leaves them open to psychic attacks a lot of the time. And it really attracts things like okay, ghosts are like earthbound spirits, right? So it's going to really attract to them because their light is shining so brightly. They don't really know how to protect themselves. They don't have any boundaries up. They're going to call in all kinds of stuff. This is exactly what happened to me as a kid. No matter where I went, if there was some kind of an earthbound spirit or any kind of spirit, it would find me. Like they are attracted to these pure lights, especially when there's no auric field of protection around them. They're just open. Okay, so that's something that would definitely be a sign. So basically, these children could be having night terrors, right? I think we all know what that is. Just like multiple nights a week, waking up screaming, sweating, upset, afraid of the dark, really afraid of the dark. Afraid of certain places in the house. Think about yourself as a kid or any children that you know. Is there certain places in the house where they might be feeling really uncomfortable and don't like to go? That is such a big sign, and no one talks about that. I got chills when I said that because there's a reason, right? If there's a room, if there's an area of the house that they're trying to avoid, or you can see that they're uncomfortable in, ask them why, and hopefully they're going to feel comfortable enough to share that truth with you, because either they're being harassed, they're being psychically attacked, or they feel like they're being watched in those places. You have to understand these children are so sensitive that they can feel the awareness of a disembodied spirit, and if it's watching them, they're going to feel very uncomfortable. So you might see yourself in these too. Okay, you might have also experienced that as a child. So again, afraid of certain places in the house is a really big one. You also might notice a change in their personality from being really outgoing and joyful and a typical kid to suddenly being very reserved, frustrated, shy, quiet, timid, or maybe angry some of the time. And this is like them being just very overwhelmed and not understanding how to share what's happening to them or what they're feeling. There's probably no words that they can put to it that would make sense. Okay, so that's a big one, a change in their personality at a certain point in their life where things start to shift and they stop being so like light and easygoing into feeling more kind of like troubled, just like really troubled, right? Okay, another sign here of some of these pain points that these children can be experiencing is very overstimulated or shutting down, especially in group settings like crowds. They're just absorbing too much, right? Either in school or in a play date, or even if like it's a big group of adults, if you have a bunch of people over, they might be excited at first, but they quickly see their batteries going down to like nothing. They can't keep up that level of energy because it's so overstimulating and so draining for them to be around so many different people's energy. Like they absorb it, and that drains them, because if they're absorbing energy from 10 different people, it's extremely exhausting. Okay, the next point here is having imaginary friends, which this was so me, but these friends evolve. Okay, so they're imaginary friends or imaginary worlds. They are not only making contact with them, talking about them regularly, but those imaginary friends evolve with them over time. Like maybe they're with them a really long time, and the imaginary friend is becoming more complex. The imaginary friend is kind of growing up alongside them. In my case, it was a spirit guide, which is so beautiful, right? But this could go a couple of ways, right? Like they could have an attachment, or they could be experiencing something really pure and divine. And it's up to the parent and guardian to help them differentiate between what those feelings are and make sure that they're protected, and make sure that they're always attuning themselves to the higher dimensions and realms and never to the lower stuff. But yeah, that's a huge sign. Evolving imaginary friends and evolving imaginary worlds that they're kind of like wrapped up in. Other sign of a psychic kid, an open child, an awakened child is like a lot of deep thoughts and questions and insights. Like you might think, where does this kid come up with this stuff? Like, where are these questions coming from? Questions that maybe you can't answer, really deep questions about energy, souls, humanity, the world, the point of life, where, just how life works, like a lot of deep stuff. That's definitely a sign that they're having their own awakening. Our children are awakening. Like a lot of us did not experience this till adults. Some of these children are born like almost fully awakened, and then they're just progressing so quickly. And it's so important to support them in this. They are the future of humanity. And if you feel, which I know a lot of people that follow me, if you feel like you're here to support humanity through this ascension and, really help people to embrace love and oneness, then supporting these children is exactly the way to do that, because they are the future of humanity and they have these codes already instilled within them. So these children are basically born teaching us, right? Natural channelers, natural energy healers, naturally awakened, naturally gifted, so intuitive, so deep, so old soul, like, with their questions and their conversations and everything. So I want you to think about how we can support them. Now, this is why this information has been coming through for me so much in the last 2 weeks, and it's just kind of dropped into my life like a bomb. And it's so obvious that I need to expand my reach to include them now. It's like I feel like I have no choice. It's come through with so much urgency that I will be expanding Starseed Academy to include these children. I'm really, really looking forward to that. I'm going to be announcing, very soon, or right now, I guess, that I'm going to be doing a Psychic Kids membership and community. This is going to include all ages, teenagers, children, plus their parents and guardians. That is super important. And here's the reason why, because there's so many ways that we can support children when we come together as a community and when we teach them, giving them some monthly lessons, some practices, teaching the parents and the kids at the same time. This is how this works. This is how these gifts work. This is how you clear your room or your home or yourself or your pet or your friend. This is how you heal with energy. This is how you connect with a spirit guide. This is how you manifest a really good day. Like, think about teaching a small child that, but again, it's for all ages, because all ages are going to need this, including the parents, right? And understanding how to create, protective wards around your home or in your aura around yourself. Like, I just can't stress how important this is, because think about where you would be personally right now. Where would you be if as a child you had spiritual guidance from a trusted and experienced teacher, someone that had been through it as a child, someone that has been devoting their life to that, aka me? Imagine having somebody that was so passionate and compassionate and so caring, and kind of came into your life at this pivotal moment when things were starting to get really raw and real and hard, and said, okay, that's normal. Don't worry. Here's a better way. Try this, feel this out. And also connected you to a community of other children that were going through very similar things. You would learn so much. You would feel so supported. You would feel so seen. And then inviting your parents in to show them how to help you properly. Like, yes to all of that. And again, just think about your own life. How I think about myself, I'm like, how much further ahead would I have been if I had have had that in my life? It's mind boggling, right? I want to be that for these children. I want to be a part of that. It would be such an honor to be even just a part of that. When a child learns how to shield themselves, they can flourish, right? In their own growing energy, not in a broken, drained spirit, because these children, when left unhelped, can develop massive anxiety, like literal PTSD, anxiety disorder, sometimes even depression in a child. But it's happening all the time. And these children are being medicated beyond medicated. And all they need is help with their understanding of their gifts, their highly sensitive nature, how to protect themselves, how to turn down the noise. There's just so many ways that we can help them. So when they learn how to shield themselves, clear themselves, protect themselves, a child that learns how to call in their power and their light, calling in their own light, transforms before your eyes into a confident leader, healing that fear and that anxiety that they have been living in probably constantly. And a child that learns how to understand their natural gifts and then even start practicing those natural gifts is gonna become a prodigy of spirit, developing their own style, stuff that we don't even know about yet, expanding what's possible for all of us, opening new ways for us all to follow in, because they are the future. They're going to be so natural at this. And I see like children that would be supported in a membership and in a community like this, like it would help their pride, their confidence, their stability, their security, peace within, to help them like heal their nervous system, heal that anxiety, heal that broken spirit, and really allow themselves to move back into childlike joy. So that they get to be kids, they get to enjoy being a child, instead of feeling like so overwhelmed all the time, right? Um, yeah, healing their anxiety and fear, their nervous systems, and filling up their childhood now with memories, good memories of safety, peace, excitement, magic, right? Teaching children that magic is real, and how to play in that safely in the light, right? How to play in the magic of light, manifestation, being a sovereign creator, energy healing, connecting with their spirit guides, in being intuitive, reading energy, a person, a room, clearing themselves, clearing their homes, speaking to their spirit guides or getting to know them, connecting with their angels. Like there is so much, and there is a way to teach it for children that is perfect, safe, fun, perfect. Like I really want to make this experience for children, this new membership. It's going to be called Psychic Kids Membership and Community. I'm going to make sure that I put um, a link in my bio for you to get signed up on the wait list, because this is going to be coming really soon. In the meantime, just DM me if you want to get on the wait list. But my aim will always be in this container to keep things fun, even while we're learning about really important or serious things. I want it to feel more like a play date, because kids are not going to want to be a part of something that feels serious or more school. Like more school? No, I don't want it to. Totally not like that. I want it to feel playful, to keep them open, to keep them excited, to keep them wanting to play with each other, learning together, and with their parents, right? So it needs to be playful, it needs to be fun, it needs to be lighthearted, even silly, yet learning is really, really important, um, ways to enhance their gifts, protect themselves, heal themselves, and grow into these unbelievably gifted and awakened adults. And I'm so excited. So I had drafted out, I won't read these all, but I think you're going to find these really interesting. There's some questions that I thought that you could ask your child, because a lot of parents might be like, well, I don't know if this is for my kid or not. Well, here's some questions that I had that you could ask your child to see if this was for them. And I just want to say beforehand that you would probably, if you asked your kid these, and you could, like I said, I won't read them all, but I'll read a couple for you. But I will have them all eventually written out for people that want to join this membership. So make sure you're on the wait list, because I think that this is important. So I really think it would be funny how blown away you would be by your child's answers. Like if you ask them these questions, you might think they don't know any of this stuff, or they're not going to care, or they're not going to get it, or they're not whatever. I think you'd be really surprised. The first one is one of the biggest signs that we talked about already would be, I would ask my child just to know if this membership would be for them. Okay. I would ask, are they uncomfortable in certain areas or rooms of the house? And then ask them why, right? That's such a huge one, and it gets overlooked. Okay. Keywords would be if they feel someone watching them, if they feel a presence, if they feel afraid. It's not just afraid of the dark, it's certain areas, right? Because although they might actually be very afraid of the dark, and that is also a sign, but if it's specific areas of the home, that is your sign right there. They are picking up on something, right? And that's not to say anything negative about your home, that's to say how sensitive they are. Okay, so that'd be definitely a big one I would ask. I would also ask them, do they dream of flying, right? Do they dream of flying in as a body? Do they dream of flying in a spaceship? Do they dream of different worlds? Are the worlds made of light and color? Are there any worlds that they experience when they're sleeping that might be a little bit dark or scary, maybe have scary faces? Find out what they're doing, because every single soul astral travels at night. Kids have absolutely no control over this, right? Their body goes to bed, the soul's up and out of there. And because they don't understand or have like boundaries around them yet, a lot of the night terrors actually start from that, because they end up astral traveling into some like darker or questionable places, realms, dimensions, whatever you want to call it. And they see things that are really frightening, and that can really stay with them. So you might want to ask about that. You might be surprised. Um, another interesting one you could ask them is, do they ever wake up and feel like they can't move, like their body is frozen or paralyzed? Are they afraid of the dark? Why? Make sure you're asking why. Do they see shadow people? And I know that these might sound scary, but if you don't ask them, they're never going to feel um, comfortable enough to share, because there are so many children that are experiencing exactly that, seeing shadow people in their room at night. They're not telling anybody, right? It's up to you as the guardian to ask and to find out. And remember, you as a kid, did you not also have these experiences, right? But they might be having, really light, beautiful experiences like seeing angels at night or seeing anything at night. And you could ask that as well. Um, do they have imaginary friends that protect them? Describe them. What do they look like? And you could determine if they're angelic or guides or animal. A lot of animal spirit guides really cling to children. Dragons, lions, they really heavily protect children. Unicorns are actually very fierce and very protective. I had a unicorn guide as a child, very fierce and protective. That would be something that you could ask them for sure. Like, do they have imaginary friends that protect them? Can you describe them? Are you having conversations with them? Okay, so there's a lot of other questions that I have here. Let me just see if any are really important. You could ask them if they can tell what other people are feeling, um, or thinking. How do they feel it too, or do they just know? So you could say, can you ever tell what other people are feeling inside? How can you tell? Are you feeling it too at the same time that they're feeling it? Can you ever tell what someone is thinking? How can you tell? Do you hear it? Like you're checking in on their clairs. Are you clairaudient, clairsentient, clairvoyant, claircognizant? I think it's going to be so fun to make this venture be fun for kids, child friendly in its approach and language, and filled with strengthening confidence, not fear at all, filled with that strengthening of confidence and that healing energy. And I'm just so excited. So again, if you are interested in getting on the membership for Psychic Kids, the membership and community for your own children, and remember, you'll be included. It will basically be like one membership per household, right? So that means if the kids aren't there, you can still come along to these meetings. There's going to be, monthly lessons, a huge, huge resource area of family-friendly practices. We're going to be having an online community area of a youth chat for the children to chat. There's going to be a guardian and a parent chat. There's going to be so much included, and I'm so excited. If you are watching this on YouTube, check the link in the description of this video to get on the wait list. If you're watching this on Instagram Live, check my link in bio or DM me. I'll just send it to you, no biggie. Anyway, I just want to thank you all for hanging out this long and for listening. This is something that is so dear to my heart, and you're going to see a lot more content coming, because this has been made very clear to me that this needs to be a big part of Starseed Academy and a big part of my purpose, and I feel very, very honored by that. So I do feel like a little personal touch here. I do feel like it's going to help me heal that inner child that went through so much all alone. So it's going to be very healing, very cathartic, and just such a beautiful, like, what a beautiful purpose to have. Like, I'm so, so grateful. So thank you everybody so, so much. And if you're watching on Instagram Live, I'll see y'all soon. And if you're watching on YouTube, please remember, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within. because you are so much more than the body you are in. I love you so much, beautiful star seeds.